Hello, Bashar. How are you today?
And good day to you. We are perfect, and you?
Almost perfect.
Almost perfect? Nonsense. You are perfect as you are. You may change, you will grow, you will always become something different, but whatever you are right now is an absolutely perfect representation of what you are right now.
Very well said.
Thank you.
I was hoping you could expand on a few concepts that you've talked about in the past.
You don't have to hope.
You will.
Just start the discussion.
Could you expand on your concept of our higher mind guiding us? Does it always guide us in the most positive, beneficial way?
Absolutely. That's its job. That's its definition. That's its description. It sees farther than you. It sees broader than you. It knows where all the pitfalls are. If you pay attention to it, the going will be smoother. You'll still have challenges. It knows you need challenges, but they will always be challenges if you face them with that attitude of being hand in hand in a relationship, working together with the higher mind. You will always face the challenges in a positive way that will always allow you to gain a positive experience from them.
Okay, so how does that relate to us following our most highest excitement?
It relates exactly to it. That's why we always suggest it. Because when you act on your highest excitement, you're in the energy state that allows for the greatest and most efficient communication with your higher mind.
Okay, so you say that there's no accidents and no mistakes.
No.
So, all right, for just in my life, for example, it seems that every time I find my highest excitement, or something that I want to do, that I have a passion for, it seems that there's some type of accident or there's something that prevents me from following that highest excitement.
So what are you afraid of?
I'm not afraid of it.
Yes, you are.
Well, I would wish to continue to follow that highest excitement.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Really? Give us an example that's specific.
For example, when I was younger, basketball was my highest excitement. It was a passion for me to play, and then I had injuries that prevented me from continuing playing.
Why is that a negative?
Because I couldn't continue to do what...
Why is that being defined by you as a negative?
I don't know.
Thank you for being honest. You see, this is the point. Once again, nothing in life has built-in meaning. The greatest gift all of you have ever been given is life is meaningless. You are designed to give life meaning. The meaning you give to every situation, positive or negative, determines how you experience the effect of that situation in your life. Negative meaning in, negative effect out. Positive meaning in, positive effect out. Every single situation has the ability to serve double duty. You decide what effect it will have by the definitions you assign to it. So, if you're following your excitement, you're acting on your excitement to the best of your ability, and you have, as you say, an injury that prevents you from going down that path and turns you in another direction, give it a positive meaning so you can extract a positive result from it. Because it's not an accident, it's an orchestration. In some way, shape, or form, there's information there as to why that happened. That will serve you if you assign a positive meaning to it. But if you assign a negative meaning to it, then you will only be at a vibratory level that will be impossible for you to understand the positive reason that that happened. Because you cannot perceive what you're not the vibration of. So only by saying, all right, I don't know why, but I know that this must have happened for a positive reason. I don't know what it is yet, but I know it must have happened for a positive reason. When you stay in that state, you will eventually find out how it actually served you. Now, you may not always know intellectually, but you have to know empirically on all levels. It must have happened to be of service in some way, shape, or form. But if you don't know that, if you don't allow yourself to just know that for a fact, you will never experience the positive result of that. We have told a story before. We will tell this story briefly to you now so that you can understand by physical example what we're talking about. Okay. All right?
Yes.
Have you heard the story we told before about someone having their radio stolen out of their car?
No.
This individual is in love with music. Passion, passion, passion. Music, music, music all day long. The best sound, the best system. Bought a car, wanted to buy the best sound system for the car to hear the purest form of the music. Could not, as you say in your language, afford the best system, so did the next most exciting thing. Bought the system he could afford. Went on his way. A week later, a robber broke into the car, stole the system, damaged the console around it. Now, this individual knew enough to know they did not have to label this as an interruption, as an obstacle, as a negative. They stayed in a positive state. And because they stayed in a positive state, they were receptive to inspiration to go to certain places to do what needed to be done to take care of this. So they went to the repair shop, they went to what you call your insurance, reported the theft. They were given an amount of money to cover the radio that was stolen and to repair the damage to the car. But when he went back to the repair shop, the repairman said, the damage is not as bad as it seems. I can actually easily repair it, and therefore it is free. Thus then, suddenly, the man looked and realized he had the money from the insurance for the radio, the money from the insurance for the repair, which, strangely enough, equaled exactly the amount of the original system he wanted to get. And now he could get it. So the theft actually served him in his dream. And only because he stayed in the positive state of energy did he take himself to exactly the correct repair shop that would repair it for free and get exactly the amount of money from insurance that would allow him to buy the original system he originally wanted. Whereas if he had gone into a negative state, he might have gone many other places and would not have experienced this particular outcome. Remaining in the positive state is what allows you to experience the positive result, regardless of how it appears. Don't fall into the training of automatically assigning a negative meaning to something just because you've been taught that that's what it must mean. Give it a positive meaning because you know that there is nothing that happens in your life but those things that serve you. And then you will get the effect of that knowledge in your life. Do you understand this story?
Yes.
Does this help you?
Yes, it does.
You never know what path being injured turns you down. Many people, again, for example, because we know this happens in your world, get very frustrated when they're driving their cars in traffic. I can't go faster. Oh no, something's going to happen. I'm going to miss something. How do you know that by being forced to go more slowly, you didn't avoid a lethal accident down the road? How do you know? How do you know that by going more slowly, someone in the next car didn't then get a chance to look over, see you, and get a thought that served them that day by seeing what you were doing? How do you know? You don't. But you can trust that it served all of you in some way, shape, or form. Yes?
Yes.
It is even a service. It is even a positive service to be shown something that is not what you prefer. Because many times on your planet, many people have an easier time understanding what it is they do prefer by first being shown, by comparison, something they don't prefer. So even that helps to clarify what it is you do prefer. Thus, then you can thank what you don't prefer by making it clearer. You see, the only way to really see a tiny candle flame at a distance burn brightly is if it's actually surrounded by darkness. Yes?
Yes.
All right. So thank the darkness so that you can see the flame, so that you can see the light. Because if everything was the same brightness, you would be able to distinguish nothing within it. Yes?
Yes.
All right.
And this is the work of the higher mind. It continues to work to benefit us
Yes.
all times.
It is always sending that vibration, always reminding you of what your true natural frequency is. It is simply that you have, through your definitions and beliefs, trained your physical mind to not pay attention. It's not that you need the higher mind to send better, it's that you need to receive better. Do you understand?
Yes.
So relax. give everything a positive meaning, even if your physical mind can't possibly figure out how it could serve you. It doesn't need to know, because your physical mind is not capable of understanding how something is actually going to happen. Your physical mind is only designed to know what's happening right now. It's only designed to experience what's going on right now. It actually doesn't have the ability to know how something is actually going to happen. Only your higher mind knows how it's going to happen. So trust it. Let it show you how it actually needs to happen by just staying in the state that is positive so that you can receive the manifestation from the higher mind. Because if you're not in that state, it's not possible for you to receive what the higher mind is attempting to give you, because you're not on the same wavelength. Does that make sense?
It makes perfectly good sense. So there's no difference between a higher guide or our guides or a higher mind.
There can be, yes.
Well,
they can be distinct beings. Your guides can be distinct beings unto themselves. Your higher mind is that which was formed by your own soul to create the personality structure experience. You created a person, and you created a non-physical side and a physical side. The higher mind is the non-physical side, having the idea of this particular experience of your earth life, and the physical mind is the physical side of that personality. They work together so that you can function as a whole person. When you do that and have that life experience, you are taking the unfired clay of your soul and you are firing it into the ceramic of your spirit, the individual spirit that is then forever representative of that particular life. You understand?
Yes.
Does that help you?
Yes, it does.
Thank you.
Just one other question in reference to that. So we all have guides then that guide us, and they also guide us down a positive path. They
do, but you see, a job's first duty is to make sure you understand you are your own best guide. Therefore, they are relatively unobtrusive and often will use the things that are already in your reality to get you to understand what you need to understand, because they're already in front of your face. That's why it's important to pay attention to synchronicity, because sometimes when you simply walk down a certain street and don't know why you went that way and suddenly see a sign with information or overhear a conversation with information you absolutely needed at that moment, it could be that all your guide had to do was go, turn left. Because then it doesn't have to actually deliver the whole message. The message is already in your reality, but the guide knows that. It just needs to steer you and nudge you a little bit. And then help you understand that you can steer yourself exactly the same way. That's when a guide is doing its job. When it allows you to know you are your own best guide. But it will always be there to help. All right?
Yes, very interesting. One last quick question.
How about I guide you back to your seat?
Okay, thank you, Bashar.
And allow your guides to continue the conversation from here. All right?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Bashar.
And you, good day.
This is the first time I've asked you a question, and I'm delighted to have the opportunity to do this.
You are delighted? One would have thought you would be lighted.
I am lighted.
Thank you.
Yes. D and lighted.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. I'm kind of wondering what's behind what has encouraged me, inspired me, supported me for 22 years now to be very devotedly, enthusiastically working with both the crop circle phenomenon and the extraterrestrial phenomenon, in the sense of regressing.
Now we're
many
a phenomenon.
People. Well, yeah. I don't know how else to wrap it up.
Oh, well, that's all right. We don't take offense.
So way back.
Way back? How far
way
back?
1990.
Oh, so far back.
I know. Millennia back. Yeah. Anyway, back in 1999,
yes.
I came across a little notice about mysterious mysterious patterns in the fields of Britain.
Yes.
And my experience at that moment was that I was just full of a burst of light.
Yes.
From the inside out.
Yes.
And I thought, I've got to know about that.
Yes.
I mean, it's like my life changed.
Yes.
At that moment. It was a big opening moment.
You upgraded yourself.
Yes. And it was thrilling.
Yes, I just gave you an answer. You upgraded yourself.
Oh, okay. I upgraded myself.
Yes. You recognized your part in the co-creation of those things, because the co-creation of the crop circles involves your collective consciousness as well, all of you. And you recognized your part in that. Thus then, you saw yourself from a higher vantage point and upgraded your perspective. And that formed a magnetic attraction to that frequency. You saw them as slices of higher dimensional forms, as mirrors reflecting higher dimensional forms. You recognized yourself in that mirror, and thus were attracted to that recognition, to become more of yourself through that permission slip, through that reflection, through those mirrors.
Ah. Okay, I recognize the higher dimensional aspect of this, and that this is auspicious. This is really important. It's opening for anyone who knows about it. So I've been very dedicated to sharing about that. And it's a dedication that goes on day to day to day, year to year.
Anytime you do what really excites you, there is no other choice. So of course dedication is the result. It's not an effort. You don't have to keep trying to do it.
No.
When you're doing what excites you, there simply is no other choice. Dedication and persistence are automatic.
Right.
There's nothing else you would rather do.
That's right.
So there you go. Effortless dedication. Effortless persistence.
Okay. And it's the same with the extraterrestrial encounters that people have.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm leaving out the word intentionally.
I understand. I am again, as you say, messing with you.
I know. And that's okay. I'm messable with.
Yes, we know.
Thank you. So with both of these...
Yes.
I won't say phenomenon. With both of these
you can say whatever you wish.
Aspects of reality.
Yes. There is some overlap between them.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes, I know so. I just told you so. Yeah. There is some overlap between us.
Ah, okay. Now...
Yes.
I feel like it's an important mission that I have
in
being in this particular lifetime.
Oh, all right. Well, the mission is to simply be yourself as fully as you can. If this is the expression of that mission, so be it. But the mission is the same as everyone's mission, to be yourself as fully as you can. That's your purpose. That's your mission. The expressions vary, but your purpose is the same. Your mission is the same as everyone's.
Okay. Now, I'm wondering...
Yes.
I don't know how to phrase this, but what is behind this for me? In other words, I have a sense that there are...
Well, why don't you turn around?
Oh, okay.
And take a look behind you and see what's there.
Okay, I guess I'd rather ask you.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
When you ask, what is behind this, how do you mean that?
Well, I mean it that
Have I not already answered that?
I think not quite, at least as far as my understanding.
All right, let's explore and see.
Okay, I have a sense that there is what I call other intelligence.
Oh, thank you.
In the universe.
At least now we have graduated from phenomenon to intelligence.
Right, that's good. Good, I like that.
All right.
Yeah, I prefer that actually. I sense that there are other excellent beings that are in some way encouraging me to do this and continue, even though it's my bliss and I'm following it and I love it and I'm excited by it.
What you are experiencing, whether it comes through individuated beings or not, because it does, and also is simply the frequency of existence itself, because the frequency of existence itself is the ultimate magnet. It lures you into more of yourself. You understand?
Yes.
It's that wavelength, it's that frequency of energy that is magnetically attracting you. It's an eddy, it's a current, it's a stream that lures you into more of yourself. And it can be expressed through many different individuated aspects of all that is, such as ourselves and many other kinds of beings. But it's basically simply an alteration or a filtering of that particular energy that is the core energy of existence, that when you align with it in unconditional love, feels like a giant attractor, feels like the urge to explore, the urge to know, the urge to discover, the urge to become, the urge to grow, the urge to expand, the urge to fulfill. All of that is the expression of the same energy. It's the eddy, the flow of energy that all leads back to the source.
Whoa. Boy, that's wonderful.
Yes, it is.
A great expression.
It is full of
Thank
wonder.
You. Whew, it is. And when I'm in certain crop circles in England,
Yes.
which I know that Darryl has been in as well,
Yes, a few.
in many of them, I feel a huge sense of presence.
Yes.
Presence that I don't see.
Yes.
But there's, again, I want to use that word, presence or intelligence.
Yes, yes, yes.
It's there. I feel like that intelligence is aware of me and I am aware of it.
In some ways, yes. Sometimes specifically, sometimes generally.
Okay.
Sometimes not at all if it doesn't need to be. It's whatever is relevant for the respective intelligences, including your own, that occupy that particular space and time at that moment. Because those things are representative of vortices, doorways, gateways to higher dimensions, higher planes, many different realities, and you will experience whatever portions of those things are relevant for your life, just as other intelligences will experience whatever portions are relevant for theirs. Sometimes there will be, as we say, overlap. There will be common agendas,
Yes.
common agreements.
And it feels like contact.
Yes, it is in many ways. And if nothing else, it is absolutely, and I'm going to use this phrase because there is many meanings to this, and you can suss these out in your own good time. It is the template for contact.
Ah, yes. Yes.
The crop
Thank you. It
circles
feels like that.
are, among many other things, a template for contact. And when I say contact, I mean contact with many different kinds of things, including levels of your own consciousness, as well as individuated specific phenomenon.
Thank you.
Yes?
And beingness.
Yes.
Beings.
Yes.
Ah, great. Now, another question, a little bit maybe akin to that. When we physically die
Yes.
and leave this particular plane, go into another
When you expand
plane,
beyond
another,
physical focus, yes.
yeah, into another plane, dimension,
Yes.
realm, whatever we want to say.
Yes.
Do we have the opportunity to meet with the souls of what we call extraterrestrial beings?
Yes. And you actually have the opportunity to meet with literally, directly sometimes, extraterrestrial beings, depending upon their state of being. You see, many of the things that we are becoming in our civilization are very similar to the idea of the state of spirit. We are now quasi-physical, not so solid anymore. We actually can, in a sense, inhabit both states almost simultaneously. So you can actually encounter what we really are, even from the spirit level. Yes?
Yes. And so these others,
Yes.
in other words, when they die from their
Yes.
physical bodies or
Yes.
quasi-physical or whatever they
Yes.
are, according to their dimension,
Yes.
we can go to the same
Yes.
frequency and know each other?
If you are of the same frequency, yes. You don't have to go to the same frequency, but you can if you are of the same frequency, yes.
So we may go to one frequency after we die, and from there,
You may go to other
we
frequencies.
may go,
yes.
if we're evolving to those other frequencies ourselves.
If it has relevance for what it is you wish to explore, yes. You can go anywhere you wish.
Yeah.
You can even go into a parallel reality and continue the same life without knowing you've died.
Well, that would be interesting.
Many of you actually do it. Many
Maybe
of you
we're
have
doing it
had
now.
what you call narrow escapes. In many of them, not all of them, in many of them, you actually died. But you were given the choice to simply, quote unquote, go back and not necessarily know that you'd actually had that experience and just pick up where you left off.
And it seems like the same reality then.
It seems like it, yes. It's so close you can't really tell the difference. Sometimes you even have a little bit of an inkling, like, how did I get out of that?
I do.
And then sometimes you don't know that anything happened at all. It just depends on what serves your purpose individually.
Well, that reminds me to ask you that one time, many years ago, in Machu Picchu, Peru,
Yes.
I was sitting meditating by myself in a place that had been deemed dangerous, and I
Yes.
forgot
Yes.
that that was a dangerous place.
All right.
By myself, sitting on a low rock meditating, and there was something told me inside, open your eyes and look to the right.
Yes.
And I did, and there was a black poisonous snake
Yes.
a few feet away with a yellow spot. And I remembered that was the kind of snake that had instantly killed many of Hiram Bingham's workers
All right.
in the early 1900s.
And so?
And so I thought, oh my gosh, that's one of those snakes. Well, that's okay. I'm in such a quiet, peaceful, meditative space. It's okay. I'll just sit here and continue to meditate.
All right.
Which I did for a little bit.
All right.
And then something inside.
Sometimes, you know, it sometimes is the better part of wisdom to move away from the snake.
Yeah. Well, that's what I eventually came to.
Oh, all right.
Anyway, there were about 4.
In other words, sometimes moving away from something like that is actually the most spiritual act. You don't have to force yourself to be spiritual while all the time you're sweating that the snake is sitting next to you, hoping it doesn't bite you.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily the most spiritual state of being.
Well,
Sometimes the simple wisdom of getting up and moving to another spot is the most spiritual wisdom of an act. Yes?
Yes.
As your Buddhists say, chop wood, carry water. Right. You understand?
Yes,
Sometimes
I do.
physical reality and just doing simple physical things is the most spiritually aligned thing you can do.
Well, the best is yet to come.
Yes.
In my opinion. So after about 3 times of opening my eyes and looking at him and seeing him come closer,
Yes.
and I wasn't really feeling all that calm,
All right.
even though I was telling myself, that's okay, you're just being mellow.
Nice, snaky.
Yeah, it's okay. You can just crawl right over me, and because I'm so calm, there'll be no reason for you to bite me.
And
However,
would you like to get to the points of the story?
Yeah, well, I love telling this story. But anyway, so at one point,
Yes.
with my eyes closed, my legs all wrapped up in yoga style, you know, one foot tucked in under the other leg, etc. I suddenly thought to myself very powerfully, I really need help. I didn't say it out loud, but I felt it through my whole, I really need help. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to untangle myself. And the next thing I knew,
Yes.
I was about 200 yards away,
Yes.
on my feet running
All right.
on the grass,
Yes.
away from that place,
Yes.
without having unentangled my legs or
Yes.
pushed myself up
Yes.
or anything.
You didn't die in the classical sense, if
I
that's what
didn't.
you're asking
No.
us. You shifted into a parallel reality where you're already 200 feet away. You understand? You shifted into a parallel reality where you did decide to move away.
Oh,
And you connected into it when you're already that far away.
wow.
That's, in a sense, you skipped over several frames.
Yeah,
You understand?
that's for sure. I really,
That's the kind of dislocation in time and space we were talking about at the beginning of this transmission. How space and time become slippery because you start shifting to parallel realities that are different enough that you notice the difference. You make a break in continuity.
right.
And you reconnect where you need to. That still makes some degree of sense, but can leave you scratching your head. How did I get here? That's how you got there. You shifted your consciousness to a parallel reality that did choose to get up and walk away, but you connected to it when it was already 200 feet away from the snake.
Now, at the time, I had never even heard of parallel
It
realities.
doesn't matter. You know about them even if you don't.
Okay.
So you knew how to take advantage of it. And the snake, being the ancient symbol for wisdom, gave you the push you needed
Yeah.
to make that leap.
Whoa.
Yes?
That's
How
exciting.
slippery of you.
Yeah. How nice of my higher self.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Bashar.
Greetings, Bashar.
And may you good day.
Allow me to thank you for your responsibility
I will allow you to do so.
with us
You are welcome.
and your service to us.
It is my pleasure and my joy.
Your use of the English language is admirable.
We are simply sending thoughts. I am not speaking the language at all. It is simply being translated through the channel like a biological translation device. It, in that sense, uses your language as it is required to use it to get the points across, but I'm not speaking your language.
I work as a language interpreter.
Oh, all right.
And so my question is about languages.
Yes.
Can you tell me about the vibrational frequencies of some major languages? Let's say English.
We don't know if you will have a
Chinese.
frame of reference for the vibrational frequency we would give you.
I have heard that each, well, at least major language has a frequency to it. It could
Of course
be
it does.
Horizontal, vertical,
Yes.
a circular,
Yes,
zigzag.
but there are many ways to interpret this idea. We have a completely different frame of reference for the concept, especially since in our civilization we no longer really use our ancient language because we're telepathic.
And so are we.
You are, but you don't know it intentionally or consciously most of the time, most of you. But we simply exist in that state all the time and no longer really use our language except for very specific functions.
Well, I come from Russia,
Oh, all right.
and we are storytellers.
Yes, you are all storytellers, but you have a different way of telling stories in that part of your world.
Yes, we have volumes of stories.
Yes.
So we don't have a bottom line, so to say, and we don't really make a point.
And that's your point.
But my question was, how does that frequency of each language, of each culture
Yes.
that we come from, reflect upon us as individuals?
It is a reflection of the collective consciousness in that group. And it is part of the overall vibration of the collective consciousness of the entire world. But each group is, in a sense, a subset reflection, a subset frequency that expresses itself in a certain way, that translates itself in a certain context and brings to the picture, the whole big picture, a unique perspective to allow everyone to see the whole picture by appreciating and validating all the different unique perspectives that are each represented by a different vibrational frequency of the story structure. It's the old story of the cooking pot and all the people sitting around it. The cooking pot has pictures all the way around it. But in sitting in a circle around it, you only see so many of the pictures and cannot see the pictures on the other side. So you must rely on the people on the other side to tell you what they see, the story they see, and the story they see, and the story they see, and the story you see, in order to understand the story of the entire pot. It was another way for all of you to express the different points of view and to have an appreciation of how to expand by validating all the differences to allow you to become unified. Remember, unification and harmony is not the product of being homogeneous. Unification and harmony is the product of validating all the differences. Because each person and each culture is a puzzle piece of a particular shape in a whole picture puzzle. And if you don't allow yourself to include that particular shape where it fits in the puzzle, you don't have the whole picture. So every point of view, every story, every perspective is valid, or you don't have the whole picture if you invalidate anything. Yes?
Yes. Bashar,
Yes.
you have mentioned tonight that May 13th is a Lemurian holiday.
Yes.
My guru, His Holiness Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, was born on May 13th.
All right. Good for him.
Yes. Is there a significance?
Of course there is. Why don't you ask him?
I will.
All right. The significance would be for his own person. Of course there is significance to everything because you give it significance. As we say, everything is a permission slip. So of course you put the significance into it that's representative of the vibration of your themes of exploration, of what you represent. Yes?
Yes.
So it's a personal thing on a case-by-case basis. There's no one significance that's true for everyone. If you want to know the specific significance of something for a particular person, ask them, see if they know.
True.
Thank you.
My first love, my first romantic love,
Yes.
his name was Joe Louis. He crossed over.
Yes.
And
And?
I felt his presence very strongly.
And this will be another symptom of expanding consciousness, is that the so-called barriers between life and death will become thinner and thinner and thinner until you can know that you can always communicate with these beings because they all still exist. It's just another state of being. It's like walking from one room to another. So more and more of you will feel the presences, and those presences will become stronger and stronger until one day, as a society, you will just carry on normal conversations with them, no matter what state they're in, even as our society can sometimes do, when it is relevant for us. So yes, you are feeling the presence. You know that there is still communication between you. You know that he still exists, in a sense, is still alive, but in a different state of being, yes?
Yes.
All right. Is there a boat involved in this? In a dream, a picture of sailing in a boat with this individual? Or crossing a river in a boat? That is the image we are receiving from this individual, as if it has significance for both of you.
No, there was no boat.
Are you sure? This
Well,
doesn't represent something to you,
perhaps-
being in a small wooden boat crossing a river.
Perhaps I don't recall this particular dream.
I'm not saying it's a dream.
No.
All right. Ponder it and see what happens, because that's the strongest message we are getting, the strongest image we are being given to give to you is the picture of a small wooden boat crossing a stream.
I will.
In ancient mythology, in ancient storytelling, it might be the idea of the boatman, Charon, crossing the river Styx to the other side. You understand?
Yes.
Does that have more significance? The ancient Greek stories?
Yes, it does.
Well, there you go. Now you understand the significance of the image.
Yes, thank you.
That is what is being given. Yes?
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
And we will meet on the other side,
Yes,
right?
yes. Yes.
Interesting. It's amazing. Buddha said, and I don't recall the exact words,
Yes.
that words supposed to lead one to silence.
Yes.
Could you explain that, please?
When you know what you need to know, there isn't always a need to say it. You just be it, you just do it, you just are it. Your actions speak volumes, and you don't have to say anything to augment that. Yes?
Yes.
The Bodhisattva also said, if you meet the Buddha on the road, kill him. Do you understand the meaning of this?
No.
It means be your own guide. Don't follow what others always say. You know just as much as anyone. You understand?
Yes.
So the wisdom of the Buddha is that you don't need the Buddha. That's why we say we are in this job to put ourselves out of a job. We are here to remind you that you don't need us, and that all you're actually doing when you speak with us is speaking with your own higher mind, using us as a convenient permission slip mask. Yes?
Yes.
And you all have the ability to do this. So do it, when and where you wish. Nothing stops you but you. Does that help you?
Bashar, you're amazing.
As are you.
Oh, thank you. What is this about the reversing the aging that...
When you live more in the moment, you don't create as much time, therefore you seem to age less. Yes?
Thank you.
Thank you.
I knew that.
I know you did. That's what I'm telling you.
Oh, thank you.
You don't need me to tell you these things. You already know these things. We're
love
just
you.
reflecting what you already know.
I love you, and I have
Our unconditional love
cannot
to you
help
as well.
And I cannot help myself because I understand that love is our nature, right?
But if you love, then you are helping yourself and everyone else simultaneously. Thank you.
Greetings.
There will be a few moments remaining for this transmission, yes? Yes, we sense that. The wind has collapsed from the sails. The patterns are receding and collapsing upon themselves into the bridge that collapses into itself, into the here and now. Thus then, though the connection between us always remains, because all things are here and now, we will at this time bid you all pleasant dreams, for dreams you are. And thus then, as you dream yourselves into being and are the dream and the dreamer, we will dream together our unconditional love to you all. Good day.